You can skip any of the mess.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here, Ken?
This is the tooling room.
Okay.
And all of this equipment is ancient, but still very useful. This is where our engineer does most of his prototype development.
Oh, okay.
Hand lays, drills, stuff like that. This is stuff that I'll introduce you to my engineer later. He's actually a cousin, and his father and my father used to work side by side in the screw machine business.
Oh.
And they both utilized this equipment at one time, going back to the 50s, 60s type stuff. But because of the fact that our history is actually in the screw machine business, he uses this for a lot of troubleshooting. Right. When he needs to. If we got a supplier who's having a difficulty with something, he'll come and play with it here and figure it out and get back to them and, you know, help them solve problems they may have. Also, whenever he's got an idea of something, he'll hack things up and, you know, turn them into whatever he wants them to end up being. Now, this area here, this is all finished goods from down this row of lights, down this wall. Okay, finished goods from the standpoint that it's ready to be packaged. All right. And shipped out. Now this area here, this is all tested airbrushes and components to produce airbrushes.
Oh, in the back there, huh?
Yeah. And if we come back here, you can see, you know, just going down the aisles, you've got parts bins, numerous components. I mean, obviously with airbrush, parts are essential to the whole construction of the airbrush. So you'll see the numerous bins, everything from needles, nozzles, valve casings, handles, whatever it may be. You know, you get rows of needles here. Obviously, with as many different airbrushes as we have different needles, different nozzles for them all. But kind of the epitome of a place for everything and everything in its place. Not overly automated, but very functional.
Right.
You know, when you've done something a certain way for such a long time, you
why
can
fix
become
it?
pretty efficient.
Yeah.
With systems. So. Now this is one of our QC features here. Simple comparator. Now I'm not a person who uses this frequently, but can usually give a little bit of a demo here with it.
All right. What is that used for?
It's also known as a shadow box.
Okay.
And what we'll do with something like this is if the engineer wants to evaluate something, he'll take and utilize something like this where, say, he wants to, I'm not going to set this up properly, but we can do something here where taking a look at a head or something like this, where you can take and set the component in the shadow box. Not the proper way to do this. Again, if I really wanted to get technical, I'd have Herman, our engineer, come over and do it.
Yeah.
But you can take and he'll use this, bring it into focus, so you can see the part up on the screen.
Oh, wow.
And you can do a measurement with it. You know, you can go up, down for vertical measurements, or you can move horizontally for if you want to measure from end to end of the part. He'll use this for things, everything from checking an incoming part to analyzing something a competitor does.
Okay.
To it. So whatever he wants to throw up there, say he wants to verify a nozzle size on a part that came into us from one of our suppliers. He could utilize this to do it if he wanted to. I mean, we have gauges for that you'll see in a second. But it's just a tool to verify designs, measurements. You know, as you do something like this, you can actually, I should actually be standing right over there. I should have him do the demo. But this is our inventory room, central headquarters per se, where we keep inventory of parts, stuff like that, cards for all the different parts and components that come in, and record all that information. One of the things you'll see as we go through here, we're primarily an assembly house.
Okay.
So most of our components come in from outside sources that have been with us for a long time, and then we do an assembly process here as well as a lot of secondary operation.
All right.
This is QC, this area here. This is Herman, our chief engineer.
Herman,
Let's go ahead.
how's it going?
Our resident patent holder and product design guy, and keeps the vendors in check and stuff like that. And make certain that everything is being done properly.
All right.
One of the things that, a little bit confidential, but we'll show you what it is. It's a file with all of our parts drawings.
Okay.
So, you know, we'll take a part and say this happens to be a nozzle for a pretty basic part of 250.
Right. Blueprint stuff.
Blueprint stuff.
Right.
Anytime that component comes in, you've got a series of gauges. These are all gauges for different parts. So if you wanted to, you know, gauge part X3522, you'd locate the gauges for X3522 right here. And you'd pull the appropriate gauges for X3522 and use the gauges, goes, no goes, if the part requires a thread gauge or something like that. You have all the tools to check everything that comes in. So before it ever gets into the production process, it's QC here.
All right.
Now this area here is all packaging.
Packaging.
So, and you have some small parts assembly on the wall to our left here.
All right.
Down the center is our shrink wrap machine. So all the sets that get shrunk wrapped before they make it out into retail come down the center aisle. You know, that can be anything from 250 sets. I mean, you've got, right here alone, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sets. The abrasive gun, the 200, the 350, the 250. You know, depending on who it's for. This is set with Propel. We make 30 different airbrushes, and they're available in 10 times as many sets, or at least it seems like that sometimes. You know, but you get a set with Propel, something like this you'd pick up at a Michael's Arts and Crafts or something like that.
Right.
This is a very basic spray gun.
Basic starter set, ready to go out of the box.
Wouldn't win you too many golden demons.
Yeah.
But it has a purpose for people just getting into it, or a guy that wants to paint a wicker chair or something.
Right.
So all of these kits go down the shrink wrap aisle, where basically they'll be put in trays, shrunk wrapped together, make it out into the retail community.
Alrighty.
Small parts, assemblies, hose cutting, which she's setting up the hose cutting machine right now. She's actually going to be cutting tubing for siphon tubes.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Let's see. Let me get that set up.
Is it a setup and just preset the length, and it cuts a bunch for you?
Yeah, she's got a mechanism on there to set the length, and we use that to cut hose, whether it be 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, 10 foot.
Oh.
The siphon tubes obviously are going to be cut much smaller.
So any hose that needs to be cut is that machine's job?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and you know, that for us is automation. We used to cut them with scissors. You know, you'd have a ruler on the table and you'd pull off as much as you need and you'd cut it with the scissors.
Right.
So, but she's cutting everything from jar adapters get assembled here, hoses, you know, they'll put the couplings on the end of them here.
All right.
Stuff like all different hose packaging, needle packaging, where they'll take and package needles into the tubing.
Yeah.
Send it out in the store. I mean, one of the things that Badger really excels in is, you know, support for the product, piece parts and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a process to the packaging before it makes it into the shipping department and goes out the door. But all that's done here. Depending on the workload on any given day, we have a lot of very versatile people. So we'll take and, you know, move people from Department A to Department B.
Right.
Parts packaging today.
People just don't know how to do one
level.
thing. They can do multitasking.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's the best kind of people to have.
Absolutely. Now this area here is, we'll do shrink wrap preparation for the kids before they get onto the line. They'll be set into the trays over there. And also all the sets that don't get shrunk wrapped get packaged over there. So for instance, our black plastic box You know, this is the new Patriot. All of these get packaged on this line over there.
The 105, my favorite airbrush. One of my favorites.
So this is really the hub of our packaging before it makes it into shipping.
All right.
That gets done over here, except for the paint. You'll see the paint room in a little while.
All right.
Now this area here is all shipping, so everything in here is ready to go off to somewhere.
Right.
So
box taped, ready to go.
Box taped, yeah. Well, and this is where inventory is kept, the finished goods that might need to be pulled for an order, or if there's not an order for that item currently, the inventory is maintained here. This area here happens to be our international staging area. So you've got items global, that's going to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Panda, that's going to Thailand, I believe. South America. Model engineering, that's going to Holland. So we ship all over the place. We ship into over 100 countries. So in focus, this is going to Australia. This is going to Germany.
And these are the names of the companies, huh?
Yeah.
Panda.
Yeah,
all that good
they've
stuff.
got an order back here for that customer, and as the goods are produced, they're staged here until they're ready to ship. So you got Weber in Switzerland. Createx is also in Germany. Hansel's in Germany. Straits, I believe, is in Ireland. More Germany, England. So we ship all over the place.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Badger does make paints, and they have an extensive line of pre-made stencils, which I think for us war gamers and stuff, they've got fingernail stencils. And if you think about how small fingernails are, they got everything. So if you want a trumpet or just textures, you know, little flame templates, there's a wall full of them. So
48 different wheels.
48 different wheels. So
now down this aisle here, these are all piece parts.
Joanne, please take your call line 101. Joanne, line 101.
Any given time, an order comes back with piece parts on it. These bins are stocked with piece parts. As you walk through, you know, you might occasionally see an empty bin, but they probably have a requisition for it over on the packing line.
right.
Generally, the practice is to make certain that there's adequate parts in here, so as soon as the order comes back to shipping, they can pull the pieces and get them shipped out.
Well,
Frisket film, airbrush hoses, you know, everything that we have our name on is adequately inventoried. Then this area back here, from here back, you're looking at orders that are just about in the final phase before they head out the door.
Okay.
So you've got an abundance of product that, you know, tomorrow most of this won't be here, and hopefully will be replaced with other orders that are in process as well. So.
Right.
Shipping dock, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. This is Pete. Pete's our key shipping guy. He and Dennis. Did Dennis make it in yet today? No? Okay. Dennis had car trouble, so
Yep.
we're a guy light in shipping today. And then we have a third who splits his time between the paint room and the shipping department.
Oh.
You can see all these boxes here, different orders and stuff. That she's
All the notes on them.
all the notes
where
for
they're
what
going.
goes where and who gets it and stuff. We're pretty simple
Right.
in how we do things. Not overly automated, about a human element that makes certain that it gets done right. So
Right.
this shrink wrap machine is for the paint department. We do paints in various sets, like our Aeropaque primary set. You know, there's multiple Aeropaque sets. We also ship our open stock in trays like this that get shrunk wrapped together. So a dealer orders something and, you know, he'll get it something like this so the paint's not all over the place when we get it. Cleaners for all the different paint lines, Model Flex, Nail Flare, Aeropaque. Each type of paint does have its own cleaner that's relevant to what the formulation of the paint is. So the cleaner is designed to break down that formulation of product.
Right.
This is a filling and labeling area here. We have 3 filling machines, actually 4 filling machines. You got 2 here, 2 on the opposite end. It is something that it's actually very unusual not to see a bucket with a propel motor, a motor propelled motor going in it to keep the paint suspended while it's being bottled. So I'm guessing they're busy labeling stuff. This is inventory of Aero paint and Airtex paints, as well as nail flare on the wall back there.
All right.
So again, paint just like parts and airbrushes. We keep a healthy inventory of product that's perpetually filled as needed as orders come in and goods go out, new goods come in to replace it.
You guys have seen it. They have a paint department.
Yeah, it is important. Our paint isn't made here. Our paint is made in our Dallas facility, so
Okay.
you won't get to see that today.
But the packaging happens here.
Yes, we bring the paint up in 5-gallon buckets, which you'll see here. Depending on what brand it is, you got Model Flex, which is the hobby paint there, Spectratex and RC Air and Woods and Water, which are all derivative of the same base.
Right.
And they have different binders in it for the different substrates they're designed to adhere to. So this has all come up from Dallas, and as needed, it'll be bottled into 1, 4, 2, 8-ounce containers, whatever's needed. So, you saw Aeropaque and Airtex in there. Here you've got RC Air, which is for Lexan, radio control applications. That ends at the third shelf in.
Okay.
You have Model Flex, which Model Flex is the parent line of Freeflex.
Right. A lot of military colors in that line, and
15. There's only 15 military colors right now.
okay.
There are plans to expand that. That's a very heavy model railroad line.
Okay.
There's over 170 model railroad colors in that range, but that goes all the way around here. This is kind of unique here. This is one item we don't make. It's airbrush food color.
Oh.
We sell a lot into the bakery industry,
Right.
so we do distribute the AmeriColor airbrush colors
Okay.
with our products. So if people buy airbrushes and they need food colors, they want to consolidate, they can order that.
And which line is it that has all the bright colors that war gamers would be interested in?
This is the Woods and Water. This is the taxidermy paint here.
Right.
And you've got iridescence in this, you've got metallics, you've got, your standard opaques and transparents in this range. Again, it's primarily designed for taxidermists, anything from, painting a largemouth bass to a deer head.
Yeah.
Is in there. So a lot of the colors that you see in real life that gamers might want to incorporate into the finishes on their pieces
Right.
are probably available in that line. And the nice thing about it is it's designed for substrates that are similar to what you guys are painting on.
Oh, nice.
So because resins, plastics are very common in the taxidermy field.
Right. It's made to adhere to that stuff. Cool.
That back there is a warehouse. If you've seen one warehouse, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
If you think your visitors are interested, take a peek. But you won't see much more than boxes.
Forklifts and boxes.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly. We try to be green. We shred everything we can and use it as packing material.
Nice.
So
Recycling.
just trying
Sounds
to do
good.
our part.
That's right.
Back to the paint department. This is our Spectratex line of paints.
Right.
T-shirt painting on non-porous substrates like plates and helmets, stuff like that.
Okay.
Excellent adhesion, excellent coverage characteristics in this product. This is the guy who's painting at the county fair or has a kiosk in the mall. He'll use this product for his application.
Spectratex T-shirts
Spectratex.
and gift items. I want to say it sticks to glass, doesn't it?
It sticks to a lot of stuff, but again, anything that you'd see in that, that production painter environment, the guy that's most visible to most people, when you talk about airbrush and say T-shirt painters or something like that, those are the guys using this. So it has utility on a wide range of substrates.
Right.
But it's quite possibly the most versatile paint line that we have.
Right. All right.
This
Spectratex.
area here is our compressor department.
Compressor department.
And what we do compressor-wise, in fact, I wonder where my compressor guy is. What we primarily do in the compressor department is QC and service. Compressors are one item that we do not make. We bring in compressors, some from here in the United States, some from Italy, and some from Taiwan. We're actually in the process right now of introducing a line of 10 compressors, 7 of which are new.
Nice.
So you've got compressor inventory here, compressor inventory here, compressor inventory here in a smaller amount. And from what I know, we're expecting a large shipment of compressors in here relatively soon with all 7 of the new models on it. Generally, there's a gentleman, Rich Kleiner, back here. He's the guy, if you ever need compressor assistance and you call us, he's the guy who's going to get on the horn and walk you through whatever compressor questions you have.
Now, people know about the Badger warranty on the airbrushes. Do the new compressors that are coming out and the current ones carry that same warranty?
Anything we put our name on has our same lifetime labor warranty. Compressors are 2 years, parts and workmanship. So, oh, there's Rich now.
All right. Hey, Rich.
There's our compressor guy. So
That's
if you ever
got
a compressor question on Badger, Rich is the guy you're talking to.
All right.
Now, Rich also does a lot of the maintenance on our machinery and stuff like that. So, it's kind of odd we have a still our compressor here because we will service just about anything. So,
there you go.
Now, this area here is soldering and assembly.
Soldering and assembly.
Yeah. I mentioned that we're primarily an assembly house.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize how Badger came to be. My grandfather and my dad used to make screw machine parts for Pache, Theron, Chandler, and World Airbrush. This goes back in the early 60s. And because of that, my dad got very acquainted with the airbrush and took a great interest in the airbrush. Every airbrush now has Teflon in it. My dad's the guy who introduced Teflon to the airbrush. He actually took his initial Teflon seal ideas to Theron Chandler, and they didn't want to do them. So he designed his own airbrush. About a year later, one of the guys from Theron Chandler came to my dad and said, hey, I think we can sell your airbrush. So they went into business as Badger. My grandfather dissolved the screw machine company. And what he actually did was he took the other foremen on the screw machine jobs, gave them all the same amount of equipment and same customer list, and let them set up their own business. The way they paid for their business was they gave my dad parts for 3 years for free. And that enabled Badger to get off the ground with minimal capital investment. And the nice thing about it is, of those 7 other foremen, 6 of them still supply parts to us today. So they're very familiar with what we do. They've been doing it a long time. They understand the tolerance and specs that need to be held to make the airbrush work properly. So
now are
these guns are already soldered. They've gone through the baking process.
You don't usually see this though. This is before they've been even plated yet, huh? So they're solid brass.
Well, we'll take you a couple steps back from that. For instance, this is called a shell. And this is essentially an airbrush body before it has the additional components attached to it. So no valve casing on this yet, no color cup on it yet. So this is what we call a shell. This is how it comes into us from our supplier. So, but and if you take note here, you have no hole here. In part because you don't have a valve casing on it. One of the things that we won't show you today, but we'll let you know when we're in that area, is the air passage drilling. That's critical to the airbrushes working properly.
Right.
So, but these are all soldered.
All soldered.
Basically, the process of that is, in this area here is where we do our soldering, whether it be color cups, where in this case they're just attaching the stem with the soldering process. This will go into an oven once she's got a full board ready.
Oh, okay.
Now these guns are getting set up to go to the platers. So she's protecting all the threads that need to be protected before they go to the platers. So. And this is something, we don't do any of our own plating. We don't want to mess with the EPA. We trust our suppliers. They handle that for us on the plating end of things.
So the plating happens somewhere else also?
Yes.
Okay.
By a completely separate company. So we primarily do is the airbrush assembly. The finishing of it is done outside of here, and the work prior to assembly is done outside of here.
Right.
So, all guns waiting to go to the platers. This stuff here is pretty much set to go. This is stuff coming back from the platers already. So this will find itself in the testing room at some point within the next week. And you can see production is very perpetual. There's constantly airbrushes coming through here. From the standpoint that I sometimes wonder how could there still be so many people that need one of these?
Right.
But we know everyone needs one, and not everyone has one yet. So.
When these come back, they go through another quality. Whenever Ken says QC, he means quality check, right?
Yeah, quality control.
Quality control.
And the final step before we go into the office is the testing room, because we do test every one of these before it goes over to the packing line on the other side. So.
Hand tested?
Yep.
Yep, so every airbrush is hand tested by Badger before you get it.
So, again, more stuff waiting to go to the plater. Now, once they do the soldering on the gun, when they have those boards or trays set up, they're going to bake here in the oven. This is one of two ovens. There's another one way back in the warehouse.
Okay.
Well, nothing in there right now because it's still early on Monday morning. So they're prepping the first batch of boards to go in there.
Yeah, I was noticing that they're not using they're not sitting there with soldering guns. It's like a cold application, and then it gets in there when they bake it.
Part of the way these go together is it's almost like a snap fit model.
Okay.
That you feel when that piece is in there properly.
Right.
Because there's just a little bump to when it's in its proper place. So, and from that point it'll go in the oven. Now once they're done in the oven, they'll come to a tumbling process, which two stages of tumbling. Now in this particular instance, they're doing some tumbling on components before they do the soldering process on it.
Right.
So make sure that there's no rough edges on anything that's going to impede the proper positioning of the cup onto the airbrush.
So it cleans, and does it polish it also?
This is a cleaning tumbler.
Okay.
Once they're done in here, and generally the airbrushes would come through here. Once they're done in the cleaning tumbler, they'll go in the polishing tumbler.
Oh, okay.
So difference is rubber stones and ceramic stones.
Okay. Rubber stones and ceramic.
Now this area here, we did big baker today. These machines are running because this is where we do some secondary work on our stuff, whether it be drilling the slots in the side of the color cups or drilling the air passages in the airbrushes themselves. Now this area here you can't film because these fixtures are very confidential and proprietary.
Okay.
But what we'll do is shoot this.
Okay, there we go.
What you have here is a part comes in like this. Okay, it actually comes in separate pieces. They've soldered this, gone through the tumbling process and everything. Okay, but you'll see there's no hole here and there's no hole here. This is where your air attaches, and this is where your air passes through the nozzle of the airbrush to pull the paint.
Right.
What's done at these machines is this hole is drilled here, and it meets up with this hole that's drilled in from here.
Okay.
If these two holes don't meet, this is scrap.
Right. Air's not going to come through, right?
Yeah, and this is something that we've done the way we do it for over 40 years now. And it's a confidential, proprietary operation that requires special fixtures and setups to do it as efficiently as we do it. This is in part what enables us to do the mass production levels that we do on airbrushes, are these fixtures and the drilling machines that they're connected to. So it's pretty sensitive stuff, but essentially, again, if the holes don't match up, they're no good. So we've always kept this operation internal. We've never entrusted it to anyone else, because once we invest in this material, but the last thing we want is to have to throw them away in large amounts or scrap them in large amounts because of the fact that the drilling operation wasn't monitored properly.
Right.
So that's what happens. And it happens with each of the airbrushes. Something like this here, this is a gravity feed gun. Right now you'll see there's no hole here and no hole here. If we go over and find one of the 100, actually, my bad, this is going to be a Velocity or a Chrome airbrush. And if we go over and find one, we'll see the holes drilled in it. So we'll hang on to this just to compare.
That's all you
later.
guys get. You don't get to see the rigs.
Raleigh, you have to call out 102, Raleigh, line 102.
Well, here, this is
Renegade.
This is a Renegade body. One's a jet cup and one's a large cup, but you can see here. So there's no hole here. Okay. On this particular airbrush now, this part has been soldered and it would go here on this, so you'd have an air passage drilled through there. And what happens is where you have a single hole that will be drilled through here,
Right.
it enables the air to pass through and it will come through the 3 holes that you see in the nozzle. And that will create the Venturi effect as air passes across the paint tip with this.
All right.
So, let's put this back on. And same thing here, where pre-drilling, you don't have the hole here, where air will pass through as it comes from your air source into your airbrush. And on this particular one, which is ready to go to plating, you'll see that that hole's already been drilled in the airbrush. So,
Oh yeah.
and again, the hole here and the hole that's coming through here will meet with each other. Okay.
All right.
So don't actually get to see a body.
Dennis, please hold. 2 Dennis.
Spray booths, we do a lot of testing of our product, whether it be paint, airbrushes. We analyze competitors' products here. Simple spray booths set up for spray testing. This used to also be our 400 department. Our 400 gun is a gun that miniatures would have no use or application whatsoever. It was a detailed touch-up gun for automotive type applications. It is the only gun we've ever produced that we discontinued.
Wow.
And reason for that was we used to private label it for Sears Craftsman and Snap-on Tools, and they eventually went over to Taiwanese, less expensive products that they could bring in. And at some point it didn't become worth it to us any longer to produce the 400 gun once castings and stuff needed to be repaid for. So, which basically means this machine here will probably never be used again. It's a very unique machine in that it did about 6 operations on the 400 gun.
Wow.
But, yeah, you might see this on eBay one day. But yeah, so unfortunately that's a piece of equipment they no longer had to use for us.
All right.
Now this room here is our testing room.
Testing.
And you've got workstations for the ladies who test the airbrushes to make sure they work properly before they get to you. One of the things of note is the dark backgrounds that they have in front of them. They use that as a backdrop to analyze the spray pattern. As they're testing the airbrushes, make certain the transition from fine to wide is correct, that there's no spitting in the airbrush.
Right.
This is also the service department. If you've ever had cause to test Badger's warranty, it's likely one of these ladies made certain you got your airbrush back in good working order and in a timely fashion as well. So
This is where the airbrush repairs happen too.
yep.
All right.
And that's why you see unsalvageable bodies, things that may be used for their parts and service needs, stuff like that. But this is the testing room. So, and on any given day, they'll be testing any one of the airbrushes that we produce. So, there's a setup process that obviously takes place. Just testing 200s down at the back desk. That's why you see that spray pattern going that way. So now when they test them, they're just testing them with water.
With water.
Occasionally the engineer or someone will pull something and test it with a food coloring or something that better replicates an actual user use. But if it does spray water properly, it will spray media that should pass through an airbrush properly.
Right.
And you'll see again, there's an abundance of product that's waiting to pass through the testing line. So whether it be new chromes, which is what all of these are. Is this a, did we clean these for somebody?
Yes, that's over here. That's going out.
Yeah. So to give you an idea of the warranty, we don't care how many you got, we'll take care of them.
Wow.
So
It's gotta be a studio, huh?
that
It goes in.
is, can't say I'm familiar with who that is, but apparently they like the Vegas, and we keep them in good working order for them.
Nice.
So, and actually Joanne is the person who does most of that. Then in this room here, in this exterior here is a lot of assembly stuff that gets
Right.
done because the guns have to be set up with all the finished nozzles and everything before they go to the testing area.
Okay.
So that all happens at these different machines. Again, because you've got Renegades, you've got the Legend series airbrushes of the 100s and the 150s, you've got the Pro Production series of the Anthems and the Patriots, you've got the Theron Chandler, you've got a lot of different nozzles and tips and needles that all require their own little idiosyncratic assembly differences.
Right.
So it all happens on the outskirts of this room before they go to the testing area. This room here is kind of unique in that our best volume unit is the 250, which is, this is the large cup version of it.
Oh, that's the external mix single action.
We showed you the 250-3 on the other side in the box with the Propel. This doesn't have the tip on it yet, but this is a large cup version. But this room is unique because all the 250s are done in here.
Just the 250s?
Just the 250s are done in here.
Wow.
So they'll bring them in, they'll do them 500 to 1,000 at a time, kick them out, get them over to the other side for packaging. And every one of these is tested also. That's what this particular unit over here is for testing the 250s. They hook them up to the gun, spray them, make certain they all work. So even something that in a retail store is less than $25 gets tested here in the factory to make certain that it's working properly before it ever makes it into the box. But
Nice.
and actually, one of the ladies who's in the testing room today does 99% of the manufacturing.
Wow.
So she could actually start her own little business making 250s. So these are all guns that back from the platers, waiting to be assembled and tested before they go over to the packing line. So everything from SOTARs to Patriot arrows to SGs. So you got 100 Gs over here. So everything's in perpetual production here. So now we do produce to order. We don't produce to inventory, which might sound amazing because there's so much stuff here.
Right.
But all of this stuff is on order.
Okay.
So it's in production. So generally our lead times run anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks because that's how long it essentially takes for an airbrush to pass through the entire production process.
Right.
From coming in the door, having the components soldered together, tumbled, outside plating, back inside, assembly process, testing, packaging, and everything. It's generally about a 3 to 5 week process.
All right.
So that's our little corner of the world as far as production environment goes. This is our office, and this is where we show off what people do with our product. As we walk around the office, you'll see pieces of art. This is a piece by Marcia Perry. Exceptional work, large mural. This is our conference room, and as messy as it is, I mean, you can get an idea here. You'll see these are some of those Harbor Freight things that we're actually
It's Central Pneumatic.
yeah, we're analyzing it to, you know, basically see what they're doing to copy us, and you know, I guess they say that's the sincerest form of flattery, but we're not too happy about it. But
Right.
but again, on the outskirts, you'll see pieces that have been done with our product. You know, Tim Mitchell, George Michael's painting, Tim Mitchell's Marilyn Monroe, Peter Stillard's Girl Getting Out of the Pool. Different pieces by different people along the ledge, everything from Jimmy Jackson custom piece, a Jeff Jackson t-shirt piece, different model railroad pieces, some Nick Lee custom half tanks that he did for us, Christmas ornaments by Judy Chic. All the glass etching is by Frank Reyes using our 260 gun. Robert Anderson, may he rest in peace. A piece up on the wall there. This is also a Robert Anderson piece. This is a taxidermy piece done with our product, and I unfortunately don't know who did it. So,
Just need
this is our
some
conference room.
just need some miniatures from Awesome Paint Job, huh? And
There we go.
add to the collection.
I'd show you our Ashley Bryson piece, but then you'd have to shoot all the vodka bottles that are sitting out.
Those are for testing the airbrushes, not for consumption.
And then this here is our office where just about everything happens, as far as orders coming into the building, activity-wise, stuff like that. These are boxes waiting for a customer to pick them up today. More finished pieces done with our product. The Santa, all the ceramic pieces are by the late Joyce Sheets. Any of the weathered stuff you see here, this is all Mac McCullough, who's featured on our weathering and detailing DVD. This is kind of a cool piece.
Yeah. I like
Because,
it. It's clean on this side.
yeah, and then he
Like
weathered
it's-
the other side for us. So.
This is it brand new, and then
Yeah.
30 years later.
But Mac likes making them look beat to heck. So, a Swiss Army tank, done by York Selnow. Some David Fisher pieces. Sorry, David, some of them are dinged up. Some of them are knocked over.
I think I've seen some of these in Kit Builder magazine.
Actually, you would have seen these in Amazing Figure Modeler magazine.
Yeah, there we go. That's one of them.
Again, more Frank Reyes glass art, a Jeff Jackson bowling pin.
Oh yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, Jeff is an incredible bowling pin painter.
And those are hard to paint because of all the curves and
Yeah.
keeping it consistent.
So, Jason Livery goalie mask, Tim Etter's flame tank, and just a little sky scene. This is Jason Livery tank down here. Oh,
Wow.
so. But all work done by artists who proudly use our product and put it to great use.
Yeah.
Virginia Gabaldo, she's a found object fine artist. Works obviously in glass and wood and different substrates of that nature. The mural on this wall is done by Michael Smith. The one down the hallway is done by John McDavid. So we like showing off what the users of our products do as well. Even if we don't know who they are and we pick up their pieces at hotel art shows, display. Can't say it was done with Badger, but certainly could have been. The piece above that is a Noah piece.
I love the. It looks like it's been hit like a piece of steel with some I guess grinder or something.
I
looks
don't know
great.
Noah's actual process, but it is an absolutely beautiful piece. Obviously not a large amount of airbrush in there, but just the right amount to complement the piece properly. He actually did that with the Renegade series.
Nice.
This is my office here. And in here you've got another Noah piece of my favorite hockey team. Another Peter Stillard illustration. Peter also did Girl Getting Out of the Swimming Pool. My favorite eagle that's ever been done, Jaime Rodriguez.
Jaime Rodriguez.
Eagle, just fantastic.
And this is all airbrushed.
It's all airbrush. Same with the Mario Chavez Chrome Eagle. So. And then you've got a Peter West piece, the Tim Etter's piece. Just fantastic stuff. And my mess.
It's alright, I'm looking at the wall. They don't need to see your mess. And
this is what we do. There's a couple Jaime Rodriguez pieces down here. This
these
is
are
Tim.
his sketches.
Yeah. Which of course Jaime sketches with the airbrush.
Yeah.
Tim Mitchell. This was actually Tim Mitchell just started throwing dots onto a little canvas at the SEMA show. And
I think I saw that on video. He was actually just working there. And I
yeah,
saw him
about
doing
half
the
an hour
trees.
later it was this. So,
Yeah.
it's a piece done by Bob Spina with the Renegade.
Nice.
Bob is an incredible pinstriper who does airbrush and accenting a lot of that
Wow.
work
I'm
that
wondering how he
does.
did all that. Probably like cotton or something. It just, that's a cool effect. But yeah. And the fur on the Badger.
Yeah. And this is Herman, our engineer's office. And this piece is unique. This was done with the first Badger airbrush ever made.
Oh wow.
That was a Model 100 gun. So this, that particular painting is got to be 46 years old. I believe.
Yeah.
So,
A bunch of
Herman's
taxidermy
nudity.
stuff.
and another taxidermy piece
Yeah.
back. So there's an abundance of art here as well. Fishing lures. One of the
Airbrush painted fishing lures.
yeah. I mean, airbrush is a very efficient tool for painting your own lures.
Oh. Very nice. Is this showing you how to do car repair? With
Yeah,
an
this
airbrush?
is actually a nick and scratch touch-up piece. It was done by Peter West.
Wow.
It was done as a how-to for a magazine. I don't remember what magazine, but this is a piece that is a project actually up on the Michaels website on how to base it. Matter of fact, this is in the display over there, I believe.
Yeah.
See what the finish
Like
piece
a little
is.
lamp or whatever.
It's actually a hat box.
Huh.
And just the Anthem airbrush. Matter of fact, he took all items that he could get at Michaels. And Anthem airbrush paint set. Went through the whole process of, using it for accenting, some stenciling, a little bit of everything on that piece. There's the head box. Right behind Max.
Oh, there it was. There was the hat box. All right.
Got a Tim Gore piece. It's pretty cool. Look alike.
I like that. You can see the veins underneath the
Yeah.
skin and everything.
Tim did all this with the Renegade. Tim's exceptional at using dots. And with the Renegade, you get those soft, fine dots and just manipulates them into something that looks so real.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our little corner of the world.
All right. So next time any one of you guys is in Chicago, come
Stop on by.
Come
We'll show
drop
you
by.
around. Yeah.
Get a tour.